Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hi everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hey y'all
and Milly channel. Today we are going to be reviewing. I'm so sorry, JayBee, your intro just like.
It's the 4th of July. It's America
Hey, y'all.
Day.
It threw me off. I was
Wait.
like, oh, this isn't what this normally sounds like.
Does that mean we have to do American accents?
It certainly does. No, I don't think I could do that all the way through because no, I can't say that actually on recording. Oh, we'll look into it. It's a very lovely accent.
Okay, so again, welcome to another video on the JayBee and Milly channel. We are as always joined by Rihanna.
Hey, oh, hello.
Oh no. And today we're going to be reviewing Scooby Doo Goes Hollywood. So this is JayBee's concept for a kind of 4th of July celebration.
Yeah, even though every single one of us in this call is in the UK, we decided to acknowledge America because, yeah. I mean, America needs to sort itself out, really.
Oh no!
Why do you?
Oh gosh.
What's it like to live in such a weird place?
So, shall I do the plot summary, shall I? Before we
Great
go into
idea! Before JayBee puts off every review we have.
Well, no, but I needed to justify myself because last time when we did Looney Tunes Back in Action, Milly didn't support me. But I'd like to point out that this is on trend because it's the 4th of July, which is the celebration of America, and Hollywood's in America, so I thought it tied in quite nicely. Don't you agree, Milly?
I do.
So I guess we can kick us off with a plot summary for those of you that hasn't seen Scooby Doo Goes Hollywood for a while.
Okay, so basically, in this movie episode, I mean, some people call it an episode, but it's more like a movie. Scooby and Shaggy are filming a mystery episode on their Saturday morning show, while Daphne and Velma are discussing the script outside. So Shaggy and Scooby then fall on the ground after going through a catapult, and they start getting extremely tired of the same routine. So Shaggy ends up convincing Scooby that both of them deserve so much better than being stars in what he considers a low-class Saturday morning show. And after, discussing it, going through, they both attempt to pitch a number of potential primetime shows to network executive CJ. And this could potentially make Scooby-Doo even more famous than he already is.
I like that. I like that. It's a pretty good premise. Pretty interesting. A lot of people have been wanting for us to review this for the longest time. And I can kind of see why, I can kind of not see why. But I guess the completionist in me is glad that we're doing this today. And yeah, I guess we can kick us off with this fake scenario. So, we've got basically, they call it like the crappy creature of Crabtown. And it looks just like a normal Scooby episode, right? They're going through the motions, it is what it is. And then it's revealed that it's not that. So, initially, I like how they're subverting expectations. I think it's cool that they've given us a traditional Scooby story and then flipped it on its head a bit. I'm not really convinced that I enjoy the fact that Shaggy, for all its fun, I don't think they're the type of people to go after like the fame and glory. And then, I don't know, logically it's kind of a bit like, was it Shaggy Rogers playing Shaggy Rogers, who is exactly himself in the story, or... Because his name is Shaggy
almost
Rogers.
like reality TV and their own people.
So I don't know, it's a bit confusing, but it's decent for the plot. So I don't think we need to think too much about it. But what did everyone think about the start anyway? I guess starting with Rihanna.
For me, I found it was quite interesting because this is one, admittedly, I've not watched a lot, so I also I'll hands up admit this. I couldn't find the DVD that I own, so I couldn't rewatch it before this. So I found small clips on YouTube, and I'm like piecing everything together. So I really do apologize that this possibly isn't my finest moment in review history. But I quite like it because it's showing. I mean, in some ways, it's breaking the fourth wall. Like, we're seeing what goes on when they're not in the cartoony Scooby-Doo world, even though they're still cartoons. And for me, I guess, this is going to sound so weird, but I always wondered, and I guess I'm a bit just bonkers and stupid, but what do cartoons get up to when they're not in cartoons? Like, if there's another like universe where cartoons are real and living like us, what do they get up to? And I feel like this explains it, you know? It's a weird thought I have, so I apologize.
I'd like to know what Daphne gets. That's what I would put.
You're a simp.
I'm not. It's not true. It's in the script.
I have a screenshot.
No, it's in the script actually.
I mean, I think just kind of, what something Rihanna was saying there, we as well struggle to watch this. I think, like, there isn't a DVD store local to us that sells this movie. On Amazon, it's like £20, which would equate to like close to $30. Like, it's certainly one that's been difficult to get hold of.
But why? Do people just think it's trash, or is it just because it's old?
Well, I'm gonna say it's easier to get hold of the mystery map than this, and that's a crime. Like, no.
I will say this movie, I found it easier. Oh gosh, I think I actually know what it is. I think I don't have it on DVD. I have it on VHS because I found so many VHSs for sale, like online, but not the DVD version. So I think that may be it.
I do swear we had this somewhere. In fact, I think I know where it is.
Where?
I think it's either at the back of the TV or above the printer. But it was so weird. We checked on iTunes, it wasn't there. We checked on YouTube, like in terms of like the purchasing YouTube section, it wasn't there. And we checked on Apple TV, it wasn't there. So it is a bit of a chore. I think we pretty much did what you did in terms of YouTube, to the point where I'm not too sure how this ends, although I think you can predict
Yeah,
it.
we found clips that took you up until the last 5 minutes. And then...
Gosh, yes, I did the same. See, I will say, in this episode, what I like is the songs a lot, that they incorporate that in. But it's so difficult to find the actual clips. And it's like, I just discovered on Amazon, I found a way that we can watch the Scooby-Doo show. We can watch it on Amazon. I think you can buy the whole season online to watch for $9.99. So we can do that for the Scooby-Doo show.
Wait, like, did like streaming?
Yeah.
I'm old. I hear Amazon and I think parcels and that.
Me too. Like, it's so weird.
We have Amazon Prime, but we've never watched Amazon Prime.
Why not? We should watch Amazon Prime.
Watch Supernatural with me. It's free. Why not?
We should do Scooby Natural. Or we should do every Supernatural. That's what I want to do one day. Although I don't want to start a Supernatural podcast because I'm too old. And my Doctor Who podcast is going to take me until I'm like 60. Maybe our kids will do a Supernatural.
So I guess you're kind of getting opinions on the initial premise, right, JB?
Yeah.
And I guess my opinion on the initial premise was saying this was, what, 1970?
Oh god, I don't know.
And I find it amazing that they could do this concept better then than they could in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You Now? Because this is kind of the premise, that's the premise from then, right? Like, it's the studios where they filmed Scooby-Doo and everyone's behind the sets and it's kind of their life away from the show, and they did it horribly, like, more recently, but back then they knew how to do it well. Like, it even looks better aesthetically in 79 than it did recently with the
the
meth they
integration.
tried to do. It wasn't good at all. So ultimately, I'd say it gets off to a very impressive start if you've watched them in reverse order.
More than anything, this is reminding me of Looney Tunes Back in Action. Because that also starts with the Toons going through the motions, only to then, after the fact, complaining to the higher-ups that it's not what they want to do anymore and that they want to take it in another direction. So it's kind of reminding me a bit of that.
Mean, what do you think to that, JB, that Scooby and Shaggy wanted to quit the show? Because if we look at the 2002 movie, they're the only ones that don't quit.
Yeah, it's fine for what the story it wants to tell. It's a good method to do that. I just think it's a bit out of character and it's a bit pointless. Like, they didn't need to do it. They don't need to do any of this, but I just think it was a bit out of character and unlike them. But at the same time, they are often used as the bait and everything, so you can kind of see them getting a bit wound up eventually. But like you say, like, no other version of the characters has gone, let's not do this to get more money and get more fame. It's been, okay, let's do this because we want to eat or we want to relax or we're too scared. It's never been, oh, it's more profitable for us to to do this versus doing that.
It just kind of seems like the only iteration where Shaggy and Scooby have been this type of characters. Like, if you look at Scoob, the other three are like more money hungry, like Simon Cowell and everything. In 2002, it's Friends Don't Quit and all that. You say it's quite out of character.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. And I think maybe getting an appreciation of when this was produced. I don't know if they were trying to launch a new series from this or if this was just the special that it seems to be. I think it's technically the first Scooby Doo movie. So this was before Go School and Reluctant Werewolf. But then I don't know where it fits in terms of like the timeline, like what series came after this or before.
Or what series they were recording.
Maybe Rihanna knows.
So this was actually done 3 months earlier than Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo, the Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo show. So I assume they were working on it at the same time, and they wanted, because I guess that would be like, it was done without like the appearance of Scrappy. So I think they wanted to kind of kickstart, like, let's do a big, movie, that's the first Scooby-Doo movie in a lot of ways, and get people back interested, because they hadn't done a series, I guess, for, or did they? I guess they were like, they might have been kind of worried about people's opinions on Scrappy because he was a new character at that time. So by making a movie, whether people like it or hate it, they're going into a series that will intrigue people. But yeah, it was done 3 months earlier.
Which was that one? Was that the one where it starts with... Oh, it's not a railway, is it? Is it like a makeshift Western railway? And the box gets thrown and it's like, hi, I'm Scrappy Doo.
They should have had Scrappy
Yeah.
instead.
I am confused.
I'm surprised that JayBee hasn't started some level of Velma rage yet. Because I'm sure Velma's first line is something like, oh, come on, Daphne, it's not that hard, you're just getting kidnapped, or you're just going to do this, and it's kind of like danger-prone Daphne kind of thing.
No, I'm fed up with Velma. Like, I think Velma's the worst character that's been conceived of in human history. I really do.
No, I can think of another character that should never have been created, and I just can't. I can see that face. What's this?
No, I would take Scrappy over Velma any day.
Me too.
Even Scrappy Rex.
Wait, I feel like I'm the only one who's Team Velma with Scrappy.
No, the whole internet's Team Velma. It's either... Well, there's a couple of groups of people.
You blame Linda Cardellini,
It's Linda Cardellini's fault. If she didn't come onto the screen and do such a good job, then Velma would just be the nerd in many people's eyes like she's meant.
I have a question, and people can comment down below their opinions, okay?
Please don't. I'm just kidding.
JayBee.
You just don't like anyone's opinions. So if, say, I think it's all like a blanket thing that people don't really like the new adaptations of Velma because of how irritating she is, and especially like Kate Micucci's voice and a lot of the different ones can really grate on you. Say if you took that out, would Velma be more appealing? So basically, modern day Velma doesn't exist, but Velma from the beginning to, let's say, Mystery Incorporated. Because Mystery Incorporated Velma was quite interesting in a lot of ways. So in that, would people like Velma?
I like the middle iteration of Velma, like the What's New Velma's my favourite.
Yeah, if it was Mindy Cohn, or even Linda Cardellini, Mindy Cohn, BJ Ward, all of them, yeah, I think they're amazing.
Because I'd say, obviously, like we're reviewing the Where Are You series 1 right now, and Velma's really annoying in that as well. She just seems to have this superiority complex, and it, like, just, I'm gonna sound like JayBee, but just the amount of like danger-prone Daphnes, and I just feel like she comes across like annoying.
She's just angry because at high school none of the guys were in, and they were all chasing Daphne. She was just there, like, frustrated and a
Oh,
sweater.
God,
Like,
JayBee,
it's
no.
just not good. She needs to get over herself or get herself some novelty toy or something.
Oh my god!
Just
What?
ridiculous.
JayBee!
You can't say that!
Well, I think clearly the character's frustrated. And actually, you know what? And I can't blame her for that, because I think if she is struggling with things, and this is mentioned in an interview that's not been announced or released yet, but I think it's no secret that Velma is an LGBTQ plus character in, say, Mystery Incorporated and stuff. And so if she is dealing with not being able to express that properly, you know, if I was dealing with that, I'd be annoying too. Hopefully Velma can get some justice one day, because she should have been LGBTQ in 2002. She should have been LGBTQ in Mystery Incorporated, and every time Warner Brothers said no. So now hopefully I'm all there for it. Like, if Mindy Kaling's Velma is that way, then I'm gonna be all in support of that. And as long as it isn't Kate McCucci, then I'm happy.
I have just found something out about why we struggled to get it on DVD.
Ooh.
This movie. So I've looked. Admittedly, I've looked up. So it was released in the 1980s on VHS in America. Then in 1986, it was released in England on VHS. Then that was, so America was Kids Classics, UK was World Vision Home Video. Then Warner Home Video released it on VHS in 1997. That was in America, and then the two others that it's been released are DVD, but only in America. So that's through Warner Brothers Home Video, June 4th, 2002. Oh my gosh! So we're doing this basically a month from its 20th DVD release. And then the other one was released. It was paired with Scooby Doo and the Alien Invaders on October 2nd, 2012 on DVD, but in America. In England, we haven't officially had a DVD release. So we can I think we can only get it in like region 1 or really bad pirated copies, which we don't support the illegalness of it, but at the same time we wouldn't need it.
No, screw that. If they're not making it readily available, then I'm all for supporting the illegalness. Like, make your product, or don't complain when people have to bootleg it and stuff. Just make it available. It's not difficult.
Can we watch Region 1, or would that not work in our DVD player?
I think there's Region 3 players that you can get, and I think ours works, because I ordered something that I maybe shouldn't have ordered. Let's leave it like that. But it was from America, and it was a DVD, and that works. So, who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I know a lot of the new DVD players, because I've got one that's an LG, and that's a Region 3, I think, and it plays American ones. It sucks though that they didn't like release, because there's a lot of things that wasn't actually released in England with Scooby-Doo.
It's like an Independence Day podcast and we're just complaining about America. Why does America get the best stuff? It's not fair.
I mean, we're promoting the fact that America has great Scooby-Doo stuff. Like, they had the Hex Girls bag. Like, I would move to America just to get that bag.
I would move to America just to get this on DVD.
Me
I
too.
would move to America to be a Daphne fan. That's what I'd do. However, one thing that I do like about this, even though, again, it is kind of topical and kind of funny that people have been requesting this movie for a while, in that, like, and me not knowing that it's so difficult to get in England, and then like fortuitously doing it here. One of the things that I think was worth it, and I don't know if the YouTube version of these sped up or slowed down some of the voices to avoid copyright issues. I can only assume so, but it definitely sounded like Casey Kasem's voice singing that you know, the name to remember is Scooby Doo. So I did like that a lot.
I'll move over. Yeah. So about that, on the CD that I've got, which JayBee has been wanting to steal from me.
I'm gonna burgle it.
No. It was performed by Casey Kasem and Don Messick with a chorus. So it was sung actually by Kasem and Don Messick. And with the other songs, you know Ruby Cool Guy that happens?
Yeah.
That's sung by Frank Welker.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
he must have been a young lad.
That's true. And then like Scooby Doo We're Missing You is Frank Welker, Heather North, and Patricia Stevens. And then Gotta Have Time is Marilyn. I'm so sorry if I messed this name up because that's a weird name. Schreffler? Marilyn Schreffler and Don Messick. Schreffler?
Marilyn Schreffler. Well, that was pretty cool. But it's a good song. There's a lot of good songs in this from the Scooby Doo guy, and I guess we should switch up the scene and talk about some of the shorts. And I think the first short that we're going to talk about is the kind of Western rootin' tootin' cowboy Scooby Doo, which again is pretty on theme, right? With it being rootin' tootin' and all.
I'm such a negative person.
Did you want it to be Yabba?
I'm a bit like, I find this conflicting, because isn't this the short where Scooby's really scared and he's like, call the sheriff, and it's like, you are the sheriff.
Yes, it's Jesse Rotten.
And it's kind of like, don't break character and have them complaining about being in Mystery Inc. to then put them back in character where they like have all these fear things when they quite clearly know they're on set.
I think if Jesse Rotten was to team up with Robbie Rotten, I think it would be a very different story. I think it would be a better short, because then I think the acting range of that show would lend itself more to what Scooby wants to be. Like, he doesn't want to be a kooky scaredy cat. He could actually integrate himself within the politics within Lazy Town, and maybe even collab with Sporticus. You know what I mean? It would make him braver. That's what I think.
We need a Scooby Doo like Lazy Town crossover, but unfortunately Robbie Rotten. Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, but he is number one. And he's the master of disguise.
Tatty's just grumbling.
So that short gets wrapped up, and then I think there's a second short, which is almost like is it the Michael Jackson short, or is it am I missing out one?
Roller skating.
Oh yeah. So yes, okay.
Actually, roller skating is just not recommended. I feel like I'd have an accident.
Oh, who's that person called? Lavone.
Yeah, Lavone.
Oh, is this a real person? Is this like a celebrity cameo? Maybe she was like a gold medalist?
I believe that the Tatty, will you please, she's being really grumpy. Lavone was voiced by Joan or Joanne Gerber, so unfortunately isn't a real celebrity. Like, I mean, the voice actress is a celebrity, but you know.
Oh, well, see, okay. Here's my issue with this. I think it was fun watching it. I think I actually was surprised at how good it was. Because I think I was going into this expecting it to be trash. But talking about it on reflection, it's very rinse and repeat. So Scooby wants to be more famous. Okay, we'll roll with that. And then it's enter the short, hijinks happen, and the president, Mr. CJ, gets a bit miffed. Another short happens, hijinks happens, president gets a bit miffed. As if we're all having fun with it, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just this happened, and it's kind of cool. I think it's interesting because it is very much like what Millie was saying. It reminds me of the "Where Are You Now" short, except the issue with that is that I really didn't like that, and so we could just sit there roasting what we didn't like about it. Whereas because this was actually alright, you know, I'd go as far as to say it was pretty good. It's kind of just, okay, so this happened at this point in the story, that was alright. That happened at that point in the story, that was alright. And there's not too much to talk about it, apart from the fact that I think it was a really cool new direction for them to take Scooby in. A bit more, you know, self-referential, I'd want to say.
I will say I got a few little facts about this special, and with like the I can't remember what they were calling them. I'm so sorry, like the side skits parody kind of thing. All of them, the ideas back then, they were actual popular TV shows. So, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, Superman, The Sound of Music, I think The Love Boat and Charlie's Angels, and I think I'm missing one, which I think is, I want to say Donnie and Marie, but don't quote me on that. So they were all taken from those shows, which were popular back then. And there were different celebrities and famous like characters mentioned or referred to, like Clark Gable, John Travolta, and Lassie. So I think they kind of they I feel like this was basically a way for Warner Brothers to, I mean, it wasn't really Warner Brothers as such. It was like kind of Barbara, but like to promote other shows of like the channel that were showing on the channels that Scooby Doo was shown on. And yeah.
No, I like it. I guess a little bit like the Arabian Nights then maybe is a better comparison, because that again, like this, was Scooby and Shaggy being used as a medium to tell different type of shorts.
I think I can see why this one's difficult to get hold of, because I think some Scooby purists might have some issues.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like me, if I was like at like the stage when I was like 5 or 6, like in love with the idea of Mystery Inc. and everything, and watch this, I'd be quite disheartened.
Did you compare the purists to 5-year-olds?
No, I don't mean
I agree. But...
No, but like me, as when I was like 5 or 6 watching What's New every day, if this had come on the screen afterwards, I'd be disappointed. Like, I don't like that, like I said earlier, that Shaggy and Scooby just stomp off, that their friendship offsets so bad that Fred, Daphne and Velma don't just go and talk to them about it. They have to come up with this elaborate scheme to try and like get them back. It's just kind of like breaking an illusion.
It is, and you know, I don't know how to say this. JayBee. I don't know how to say this.
You've never edited yourself before.
No, because I feel like it's a bit of hypocrisy, and I don't want it to come across that way. Because I agree with what you're saying, and I always pride ourselves on being a method in which people can learn about the like reintroducing yourself into the nostalgia that is Scooby, right? Like, we're not purists that have stayed with it forever, at least not me, at least not Millie. It's always been us two being guided through the journey by a Scooby expert like smASH or a Scooby expert like Rihanna. It's always just been them guiding us in, back into the world, right? And so it's more, if people are coming at it through our perspective, then it's going to be older people listening to this, as opposed to some of the other platforms which you've got the kids, right? Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. So because we've got less kids, I kind of think that, like with interviews, you could argue it's breaking the illusion, right? Like if I was a kid and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, like look at, like for example, the one that we just did, like I was watching The Mystery Begins, like, and I wasn't young enough to think that it's all real, but it was cool, like, oh yeah, look, here's Daphne, there's Velma, there's Fred, this is a really cool mystery. And then if I saw some of the behind the scenes, at the time it's kind of a bit like, oh yeah, that's reminded me that it's not real.
Yeah, but it's not just breaking the illusion, it's like it's not just saying, hey look, this is the set behind it. Like, it's not like we've had a guest come on the show and be like, yeah, I absolutely hate Scooby-Doo. It's more the interactions that they have in it that's breaking an illusion.
But is
like,
it
the
different
illusion we all
between
come to
kids to adults? So what I mean by that is, me as an older person now, and I guess I will censor this word for the sake of the sake, but finding out that Scott Innes is a bit of an doesn't then make me, think less of witches, ghosts, or alien invaders, if that makes sense. I can separate the character from the person. And so I guess if this was a special that was breaking the fourth wall, it would almost be trying to like catered to like what the 2002 was originally going to be, the people on that nostalgia trip potentially?
Because I'm not a purist, I couldn't tell you what movie Scott Innes was in. Not that I'm condoning what you just called him, or your opinions, but like I couldn't sit here and list off the movies Scott Innes was in. To me, Scooby's Scooby. Some voices are better than others. Some movies, some stories are better than others. I guess I don't differentiate which one's which, really, other than Kate McCucci. Can't not.
Yeah, that's all.
I think we're all in agreement there. Like, I will quickly bounce off. Like, I won't mention any names. But, like, there's someone who we've had interactions with in Scooby World who has really like let me down and everything and upset me. But I think what's good is like I watch the movie that they were in or like the episode they were in and stuff like that, and I don't see them as that person, if that makes sense. Like I see them as the character.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. So, in terms of this, I think it's about separating almost mainline continuity with special continuity. Like, it is weird. I don't like how Shaggy and Scooby are necessarily acting to get this story to move forward. But I think in terms of kids that would have been watching this at the time or going back to it now, I think
they're just crabby because there isn't any Scooby snacks.
oh, that's Scooby snack. I think there should have been more Daphne. That's my opinion.
There should be more Daphne, Fred, and Velma. Not that we encouraged more Velma, but like there should have been. Those three just were almost written out of it. There was just one snide comment from Velma at the start, and then some big plan at the end. It wasn't substantial.
I mean,
but that. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. You quickly finished. I'm quickly checking something, double checking.
It allows for the Scooby thing where they say Scooby like goes Hollywood on us or something. Because obviously when you read the title Goes Hollywood, you're like, isn't that meant to be goes to Hollywood? Like, is it like where they visit the different places, or do you know what I mean? And then they use the phrase like, oh, they've gone Hollywood on us.
To go Hollywood, as in to become a diva, or I don't know. They're too big for your boots on it. Or,
I've double checked. And with how Fred, Daphne, and Velma weren't really in this, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, they had dropped Fred, Daphne, and Velma. So this could have been an introduction because, you know, this came out 3 months before that series. So it could have been slowly introducing people to the fact that they weren't going to be in and like get the vibe that people like would have responded to. See how they would have reacted to not having those three. And then, you know, admittedly, later on they reintroduce Daphne into it, and Fred and Velma are forgotten about. So I think they were using this as basically an experimental, see what characters people really want to see, what characters people aren't too fussed about, maybe.
I think that's a really interesting point, but I'm also kind of surprised that writing them out would come off the back of this, because I genuinely missed them. Like, watching this, I felt like I was missing Daphne and Fred.
You're missing Velma! You said it!
well, it depends. How old would the purists have been, I guess, when...
So if we work on the basis... This came out, oh gosh, like 43 years ago? So, say if a purist is 50, they'd be 7.
I'd be minus 23.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one to suss out. I guess at the end of the day, the creative heads will do what they need to do, and at the end of the day, what they did has to have saved the series, right? It's just, from this, it's just difficult to say. But yeah. So I guess what's next? So we've done roller skating, and then we hear that CJ is willing to make them stars. And so Shaggy and Scooby go to some type of event. But then Scooby gets some bad publicity, and CJ then wants to kind of conspire to get Scooby to go back to his own show. And I think that's fair enough, right? Like, again, I think it's more or less, I guess, when you think about it timeline-wise, if they thought that maybe the timeline wasn't too bogged down at that point to make it connect. I guess because we see Scooby being so famous in this after the fame of, you know, you hear people singing like the Where Are You theme tune and mentioning the tropes that were born from that series. It could be then like this was maybe even perhaps an announcement that Scooby was back, type thing.
Oh, is he back?
No, I'm back in it. So I guess it makes sense how they're gonna try and get Scooby to be back to his own show, because I think ultimately that's gonna make kids more happy than not, right? Like, imagine if this ended with Scooby just quitting and doing something. Would you enjoy that, Milly?
No, I think it had like, you can, like I say, we missed the last little bit, but you can tell where the endings go.
Yeah, but here's a bit of a cool section. We get a Mystery Inc. flashback.
That's true. I think I remember what happens at the ending.
Tell me.
I think so. The like last piloty bit that was done was like Scooby's Angels, which is Charlie's Angels knockoff. And Scooby yells, "Stop the cameras!" Well, drop the cameras, as Scooby says. And I think what happens is everyone outside is chanting Scooby Doo, we need you. So Scooby decides that everyone like loves him for who he is and that he shouldn't change. So he goes back to the original show. And then after things like quieten down in CJ's office, Shaggy, I believe, is very much like, why should I go back so easily? So he's showing the CJ the tapes of his own pilots, which is like Mork and Shaggy, Welcome Back Shaggy, I think it was Shaggy and Hutch, and then it ends in Shaggy being tied up in his own film reel, which follows the Mystery Machine into the sunset. I believe that's what happens.
I like that. I mean, I guess at some point
We need to try and watch it.
we can source the DVD. We'll do a part 2 of this. We'll do a part 2.
So wrapping up part 1, I guess, JB, we're pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah, I'd
so
say so. I'd say
smash or pass?
so. I like Lucy Lane. I'm gonna say that much. I like superheroes. I think that this is a good, true, rootin' tootin' American story, and so I can do nothing more but smash this movie. I think it's definitely made me want to get the DVD, watch it properly, watch it again. Definitely, there's a lot more of Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood in my future, so I'm gonna sustain a smash. What about you, Millie? Would you smash or pass Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood?
I mean, I agree with you. I want to at least get the DVD and give this a thorough watch through without having to like flip between videos and actually getting to see the end of it and everything. I don't think I would like this as much if I'd have seen this before the reunion special they tried to do, because for me that just makes this so much better about how they were meant to do things. So yeah, for me it's a smash as well. So that just leaves Rihanna. For you, is this a smash or pass?
So from what I remember watching and the clips that I've seen, I really enjoy it. I love the songs because I have learned them on guitar. I sing them almost once a day. I think I'm a bit addicted to Scooby-Doo. I need help. But it's just amazing, and I'm with you. Like, we need to find the DVD. Or if like we get it on VHS, we need to find something that plays VHS and we'll watch it on that. Maybe like we could go old school, get wrapped up in the film, like real thingies and stuff, like Shaggy does at the end. But yeah, no, it's definitely a smash from me. So it's so much better than Scooby-Doo, Where Are You Now? And
Yay!
I would over this. Like, I would pick this over that, like, any day. But it's so. I think it was fun. It was a fun premise, and Millie and I are in agreement, and we're all smashing it.
Yay! Okay, so unanimous. This was a good Scooby-Doo movie.
I don't think there's any community news except for I guess this is going out on the 4th of July, so, you know.
JayBee might correct. Sorry.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. For Americans, people around the world, what is it, everyone?
JayBee might correct me, but I thought there was community news.
Is there?
I believe.
Carlisle is coming to the UK in December.
Woo!
Yeah. I wasn't going to include that, but you were right. I don't know when, is the 4th of December or something? Early December.
Telford Comic Con.
But it's not often that she comes to the UK, I think. I want to try and do that, although, here's a bit of a prediction. Because she is Daphne, I do think that security may tackle me upon entering the facility, so we'll see how that goes. And obviously, if you've been to Wales, you know, I don't want to end up in prison over there, let's just say that much.
I mean,
If
it
what they
helps.
do to the sheep. Look at me, what am I
Oh
going to
look,
do?
have you heard what happened to Rihanna when she went to Wales? It's not a good
She
idea.
got
Oh,
molested.
She didn't
No,
got
I
kidnapped.
almost got. Yeah, I almost got kidnapped in Burger King. That's not a good thing.
Hashtag save Rihanna. They could have turned you into burger meat.
Oh no, don't. That's
That'd be
terrifying. I
awful.
will say, if like hopefully if like you guys go, I can also go. And we could like vlog together at the convention, and I do also have a bit more community news, which I think we should mention.
What is it?
So, of course, this is going out on the 4th. So tomorrow is the 5th, and we have a really, really exciting interview because the 2002 celebrations haven't stopped yet because it's the anniversary in England. And tomorrow you'll get to see us interview Adele K. Thomas, who she had an awesome role in a hidden, deleted scene that I don't think many people have actually seen and laid eyes on. So we get, a glimpse into that and also find out a funny story of her interaction with the main cast, more specifically Freddie Prinze Jr. So make sure you watch that.
And here's a little BTS to get people excited for that. About 20 minutes into this interview, our next door neighbours decided to get a bit passionate, and I haven't edited the video yet, so if you want to hear some of that hanky panky,
Oh
then
my
tune in.
gosh.
Because I'm going to try and edit it out, but I'm making no promises, because that
I thought you
disturbed
said
me.
the recording didn't pick it up.
I've not listened to it. No,
couldn't
everyone told
hear
me
it.
that they couldn't hear it, but it was loud. Really loud.
I couldn't hear it. Oh my gosh, why did you say that?
It's
I
mad.
always checked up my
I'm
phone.
gonna try and edit it. So yeah, I guess that's it. Happy birthday, America. It's not. Is it? No, don't laugh at me.
Happy
Is it?
Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day, America. And to all you fine folk, keep on rooting, keep on tooting,
JayBee's tooting.
but for God's sake, stop